to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Welcome, episode 48 of the Play It By Ear podcast. Waiting for the room to fill up. 6 people. I know everyone is a bit in arrears as we come on. They're not even hearing this yet.
Wow.
So 8.
Wow.
Yes.
Check 1, 2.
All right. Sign in as always. Howard's always first to sign in. It's like
how's it going, Howard?
Waiting.
Howard.
Bated anticipation for us to come on.
Bated breath always sounded so unpleasant. Like you'd
Sounds
been
like
gargling night crawlers.
Sounds like it would smell.
Yeah.
You have bated breath. Yes. Yeah. Your breath smells like dough ball.
Weedy ball.
You got carp mouth, son. You got carp mouth.
You got to cut out that mud vein. It's good eating.
Last time I saw a mouth like that, it had a hook in it.
It's
Rodney Dangerfield.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
All right, now 17 people in the room. So again, everyone sign in, give us a comment, let us know you're here, because you talk to people every once. I don't know if this happens to you all or not. You talk to people every once in a while, and they say, "Hey, we love the podcast," or "I love the podcast." Like, well, that's good because I didn't even really know you listened. Because all we ever see really is numbers. We see this little thing up in the corner of our screen that says, I see it says 14. I don't even think you two see it, do you?
No, because I stopped looking at my Facebook while we're doing this because it gets a little too crazy with the lag and stuff.
My attention span can't handle it.
Hello from
Alabama.
Alabama.
How's the weather in Alabama? Let us know, Allison.
Hope you haven't got any of the icy nastiness that hit your slightly southwestern neighbor, Texas.
Miss Wilson in the house.
Hello, Miss Wilson.
Yeah. Howard says Connie Buchler Kirker is in the house. Well, there she is. She said hi to Howard.
Is.
Are you going to say hi to us, Connie? We're saying hi to you. Hi.
I had to take responsibility for this because I badgered Connie at a basketball game to check out our episodes and listen to us, and here she is.
Thank you,
So
Connie.
we better have our A game.
Yeah, so now she may never come back. Now you set this high bar for us.
I did.
Rob Bashir
Howdy,
in the
Rob.
house. Hey, Rob. Let's see. Allison says she is in Lower Alabama, a.k.a. Louisiana, or L.A.
Hit a bayou.
Near. I guess that'd be Mississippi, wouldn't it? Mississippi.
Yeah.
All right. Beth Kress in the house.
Beth.
That's Wendy.
Hello, Wendy.
Wendy's in the house, too. I clicked these and the comments shift. Wendy's here. Beth is here.
Hello, Beth.
Gary is here.
Gary.
Yes.
Carrie is here.
Gary is here.
All right.
Stay with us, Carrie.
Yes.
We always enjoy your input.
All right. We'll get the housekeeping out of the way here. Please visit our website, www.playbyyourpodcast.com. Register for updates on our show. That is on the bottom of the homepage. So you go to the homepage, scroll all the way to the bottom. You can put your name or email in there. Also, some information as to how you access our show. Are you an audio listener, a video listener, watcher? We'd like to have that information. Just kind of wonder where we're being consumed. Is that the right word? Consumed.
Works for me.
Hey, sure. All right, so please go to our website. There's some other things there too, and we'll allude to those as we move along. So if you've never been here before, our show, we all bring a topic to the table. We talk 20 minutes thereabouts, approximately, on that topic. And 20 minutes tends to be just a suggestion because most of the times we'll go beyond that, but provides a bit of structure to what we're doing here. So we are in order on the screen as to what our topics will be, and Brady being on the far left, or my far left. I don't know how you appear on Facebook, but maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, Brady's on one end. He'll start us. Todd will be the middle topic. I'll round us out at the end.
He's on your left, looking at him, but he's on your right. If you're looking back at us,
If you're not.
I'm confused now.
Okay, then we
I'm
must
on the
move
screen.
on. You're on the screen somewhere. Then we must move on. All right, Brady.
Yes.
Your 20 minutes are starting now.
Oh wow, brace yourselves. Okay, we Todd, by his suggestion, said, guys, you got to listen to one of our older episodes, episode 43. It's not that old, but it really tickled his funny bone. And one of the reasons why this was so unfunny was just our obscure referencing of we're 80s kids here. We're masters of the universe. And we stumbled upon something that we found really, really funny because whoever, oh, yes, sir.
Well, I was going to say that harkens back to another episode, actually. The Masters of the Universe episode wasn't that one. It was one or two before that. And
it was. It wasn't in the Christmas episode. We were talking about favorite toys. That might have been where it started.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's where we went down that lupine excursion.
The lupine. And here's the deal, gentlemen. Like, it's not entertaining for all of you listeners that are expecting like a Comic-Con kind of a where we're talking about toys and they're about no. We're actually we're looking and laughing at the ridiculous character names and how much fun it would have been to be in research and development for Mattel and Masters of the Universe. So to whet people's appetites and to go back to the beginning.
I'm guessing we would have been fired pretty quickly.
We would have been. I don't know, man. When you hear some of these, I don't think it's any worse than we could have done. That's for sure. But let's just say, let's go back to one of our original He-Man references, and we got to laughing at one of the figures, which was a villain, which was Stinkor, where it was a giant skunk, and and it had a large tail, and it even smelt when you got it out of the package.
Yes.
It was marketed for its stench.
It smelled like polecat.
Like pulpus.
It wasn't. It smelled like it wasn't genuine polecat. I mean, it wasn't. You didn't have to go douse your hands in tomato sauce or tomato juice after playing with it. But it was. I think you were talking about this on flavored something the other day on the episode about flavors not being real, like synthetic.
Synthetic. It's what we're told it's supposed to smell like.
Yeah, it was synthetic polecat.
And it's like, here's He-Man, master of the of the universe, riding his battle He-Man and his battle cat. And then you've got, who's he facing? Well, besides Skeletor, who's a pretty imposing looking dude, you had Stinkor and Mossman. It's like, oh, here comes Mossman,
So which smelled worse? Stinkor or He-Man's cat when it's sprayed?
Well, did it spray?
Why not?
The one. I was thinking of the one. There was a spray. There was a Skeletor that had a.
I was trying to make a funny observation.
I was too busy geeking out.
Move forward.
Because there was a Skeletor that had a thing on his back, like a backpack, and you put water in it, and it sprayed. That's why I thought you were talking about. But
no.
So here's what I don't get. Mossman is made out of faux moss, like he's covered in like an indoor-outdoor carpet, like
the Brady Bunch yard.
Yeah, exactly. Why couldn't they put and Beastor or Beastman? He had hair. It was like somebody glued a pelt onto him. How come all of them didn't have various textures?
Yeah. Well, go
ahead. And how did they determine whether they were going to use or man at the end of the name? Why not Stink Man?
Because it wasn't a man, was it? It was an animule.
It was a
manimal.
Muleman.
I'm assuming it was a male.
Well,
now there are the exceptions. I guess all the females had to end with Lynn or Ra.
Yeah, that's true. There weren't very
Because
many
there was
females
Evil
in the
Lynn
Masters of the
and
Universe.
She-Ra.
We have some comments from the audience here. First of all, welcome to Leprechaun TV. Getting close to your holiday there on St. Patty's Day shortly here. Miss Wilson, Todd, do you expect them to harvest polecat glands for the true smell?
Are you ready for the first one?
Is Brady mine choppy?
And Brady's choppy.
I didn't know if it was mine or not.
We're sharing comments here, Brady.
Polecat Paris. I like it.
Synthetic polecat. Danny, that was Lizard Man.
Or was
Lizardman?
Or was it Lizard Or?
Lizard Or. Well, yeah, exactly. So I guess the or doesn't go for an animule because lizard's obviously an animule. Let's see. Battle Cat was Carol Baskin's favorite toy. Wink, wink.
And see, Battle Cat. Why couldn't have they glued some hair on Battle Cat?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, Brady. Brady's very
Over.
Oh, Brady. He's very choppy.
Hey,
Maybe kick him out and bring him back in.
Lizard or.
Yeah, I think I will kick him out and bring him back. Uh-oh. I kicked Todd out too. There you go.
Except now I'm Eric.
Yeah, now you are. Let's remove our overlays here. Okay. Todd, how about we do a little whatever, little impromptu whatever. Let's go to your topic.
I just want to say, yeah, we're teachers. We're used to this. We're used to technology not working.
That's right. We'll now he's coming back in.
Before I start, we'll see if he's...
Yeah, see what it goes.
Here we go.
All right, go ahead and speak, Brady. We'll see if you're still choppy. Yeah, no, not good.
Any better?
No, not good. All right, so I'm going to remove you again, see if you can do something with that, do a restart or something. All right, Todd.
All right, so
well,
go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, I'll say we'll just come back to Brady's little thing when he gets himself in order.
Okay, so my topic tonight is a bit nostalgic. It's a little trip down memory lane to the 1980s, and I know that many of us were Utes in the 80s of various ages. And I have a list here of 22 things that we grew up with in the 80s that would probably get you arrested today. So without further ado, we'll just get started since there are 22 of them. Now, I will say, I gotta put a disclaimer out there. Some of these we are not condoning whatsoever. I mean, there are some, we make jokes about them. We will, we'll go through the list and people can chime in. But I do have to say that the Play It By Ear podcast hosts do not suggest or condone, or do we think that some of this is funny and that is very serious. But I had to put that out there to protect us, Eric, to protect us, man.
Of course.
All right. So first we have totally non-existent car safety. Safety standards are a lot more intense now than they were 30 to 40 years ago. Back then, a lot of safety regulations were less like rules and more like mild suggestions. Suggestions that most people just ignored. Like, remember sitting in the middle of the front seat.
Yes.
That way you could not only control the radio, but also guarantee that if you crashed, you'd be getting a face full of dashboard. You didn't even have to crash, just a tight curve or a tap on the brake or whatever, and you were eating the radio buttons. What about those awesome seats in the back of the station wagon that we'd always fight over while on family road trips? Now, I never owned a station wagon. I was never...
Nor did I, and I was rather jealous of it because I always wanted to sit in those seats that faced out the back window.
Yeah. And of course, these questionable seating choices were made more fun and dangerous, I guess, by the fact that seatbelts were treated as entirely optional. And I definitely remember not wearing seatbelts, being in the front seat. I can remember being on the floorboard down in front of my mom, like in the front seat floorboard, and playing with my cars and things like that. So
I believe I rode to Florida, and this is probably more late 70s and early 80s, but I know I rode to Florida on the floorboard of the back seat. Between there and up in like the little flat spot out the back windshield.
Oh yeah.
I was either in one or the other.
Well, I mean, one thing that we had going for us back then is that cars were built like tanks.
True.
So I almost think that me being on the floorboard of the front seat floorboard, the passenger side, was probably about the safest place in the car, to be honest with you.
That's a fact. Now my first car was a 68 Pontiac Catalina, which Howard recognizes because they ended up with the car, his family did. But I wholeheartedly believe that had I hit a brick wall with that car, the brick wall would have lost. I mean, true metal in that car. There were seat belts, but they were not. Like in the driver's seat, you had a lap belt and you had a shoulder belt. They were not connected. So you had to click one and then click the other if you used them at all, which I tended not to, but they were there, which I believe in 1968 was considered to be an add-on, seat belt. Like the shoulder belt was not something that was standard back then.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys have alluded to that car on other episodes about it floating.
The land speeder.
The land speeder. Well, another thing I remember is back when those seat belts, they were dangerous because they would get piping hot in the sun.
Indeed.
And they would welt you up pretty quickly if you even got any bare skin near them. So summertime was, shorts were pretty short back then, so it was nothing to hike an ass cheek up on one of those hot seat buckles.
Does that still happen? I mean, there's still metal parts of the seat, but I don't ever remember that happening now.
Well, but they're metal, but now they usually have plastic around them, right? To where back then, I mean, the biggest part of the buckle was metal. Well,
the actual contraption that you clicked into was metal.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So, but anyway, next on the list, you can stop me, Eric, whenever you want to. But next on the list, riding in the bed of a pickup truck. And I got to say, that didn't stop in the 80s. I mean, that's something that we did still in the 90s.
True.
Never once really felt unsafe, but it says if you grew up in the country, then you definitely did this at one point or another. That was just something so wonderful. There was something so wonderful about feeling the wind blowing through your hair while lounging with your friends. Though if the road was super bumpy, there was a small part of you that worried you'd get bounced right out of the truck. Trying to wrangle kids while you're running errands can be an absolute nightmare, so sometimes our parents would just make us wait in the car. Whoops, I skipped ahead. I apologize. That's the next one. So anyway, riding in the back of pickup trucks is definitely something that we all did. It was just the easiest way to go somewhere with all your friends.
Indeed. I have some comments here we can throw in, and that was perfect segue to Danny's comment here. No seatbelts in the back of the truck. That is true.
That's right.
He also said, I banished Brady with the finger of power. Allison says, different times then, different times. Yeah.
Sure.
Whether they were better times or worse times or just different, I guess everyone has their opinion. Danny also said you had the worst disclaimer ever before you heard this.
Hey, you deal with insurance, Danny. I mean, come on now.
Miss Wilson, my dad drove a delivery truck that had a wooden box for the passenger seat and a wooden rack in the back. Everyone not in the family loved to ride on the rack. That sounds like a torture device. Hey, go ride on the rack. Howard says his sister Jackie hit a brick wall with that car, and I'll bet the wall lost. Am I right? Joe, welcome Joe Pilger from Illinois. Does 2021 have a restart button? Do we want to restart this? I mean, I'm not sure we want to do that. Allison says they still do that down here in Alabama. Which,
the pickup trucks?
Yeah, pickup trucks. Howard says in the 80s you could buy firecrackers at most mom and pop stores. That's true. And Joe, on his restart button, if Brady's restart works, pass along the secret. I will do that. He's not back yet. I'm going to bring him back whenever he decides to rejoin us. All right, Todd. Proceed.
All right. So next we have, and again, this is one that obviously we do not condone, but getting left in the car while your parents go into a store. Trying to wrangle kids while you're running errands can be an absolute nightmare, so sometimes our parents would just make us wait in the car. We could always just roll down a window, and the doors were usually unlocked, but it still wasn't a great idea. And I can remember, not that my parents were careless, but I can remember becoming a certain age and, just waiting in the car.
Yeah, you wanted to wait in the car.
You wanted to wait in the car, yeah.
Especially if you're going to someplace like McAlpin's or something like that. I mean, you didn't want to go to McAlpin's.
Van Loonen's. Well, Van Loonen's was always fun.
They had toys and things. You could
right.
get in there. McAlpin's had no toys.
That's where I bought my class ring, Van Loonen's.
Oh, yeah. And McAlpin's had that awful kid sound only kids could hear that you talked about before.
You guys talked about that. I don't remember that well. But
I think you were too young.
I don't think I was ever at that McAlpin's. There was one in Eastgate Mall, right? That was the one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the one we were talking about was over in, it's actually where the Kroger is now in Cherry Grove. It was in that, I think they rebuilt that strip there, but the McAlpin's used to be there.
Yeah. Next on the list, being totally unreachable. In the days before cell phones, it wasn't unusual for us to leave the house, having only told our parents that we'd be back by dinner or dark. As far as they were concerned, we basically fell off the face of the earth until we either came home or called from a payphone to get picked up from wherever we ended up. I was a little post-payphone. I didn't use the payphone much, but once I became a teenager, I mean, I can remember. Our friend Doug has a funny story about that. My mom calling and asking if I was there, and I told Doug no, to tell my mom no, and because I was trying to sleep, and he told her no, and my mom's like, Doug, I know better. We saw his car, like they'd seen my car or whatever. So anyway, but yeah, you just kind of left, and your parents assumed you were one of a few places that you always went, and I'm sure there was concern and worry, but it was nothing that.
Now you see a payphone occasionally still yet, and that's it's almost like you see a payphone, you want to take a picture of it because there just aren't many around anymore. So you wonder how many of those actually get used because everyone has a cell phone.
Sardine, you only had one payphone, right?
Well,
I mean one. I mean, I'm not talking like in gas stations or things like that. Just one right there in the middle.
Well, yeah, right at the four-way stop. I mean, I remember there being a booth.
Yeah.
Like a phone booth.
Yeah, I remember the booth.
Thing. On the corner over there by on the delicatessen side of the street there. Brady's back.
I'm hoping this is better.
Now you're not choppy, so that's good.
Oh man.
We moved into Todd's topic, so we'll circle back around to yours.
Sounds
all
good.
Right.
Let's continue on with Todd.
Next on the list, secondhand smoke. Sometimes it seems like basically everyone in the 80s smoked. Secondhand smoke was just something everyone had to live with, and not many people were really worried about it or exposing their kids to it. Most kids were smoking anyway, so I guess getting it secondhand didn't matter much.
Oh man.
So again,
do you remember
we aren't condoning smoking?
Do you remember the teacher's lounge?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Funny, you never really saw teachers in there because they were always covered by smoke.
Yeah,
you
needed
they were in there.
Fog light.
Newspapers and smoke is all it pretty much was when you looked in there.
And Mountain Dew.
Where they would certain ones would leave you there in the classroom and go smoke.
Oh yeah.
Back in the good old days.
I can remember teachers getting, this is a change of subject sort of, but I can remember teachers getting phone calls and leaving the room. I mean, what seemed like half hour.
Forever.
I mean, it was just, because there were no phones in the room, so they had to go to the office or the break room.
And Eric and
Maybe they said they got a phone call and they were just going to smoke. I don't know.
We had a teacher that would leave the classroom for a few minutes and then would put like the spy mode on the intercom. I can hear you. And we were always terrified to do anything, even though she wasn't present in the room. She knew.
Well, I think she left the room for more than a few minutes, Brady.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Got some more comments here. Danny says that sound was the stuff of nightmares, Brady. Just to bring you up to speed, we were talking about the awful kid sound at McAlpin's in Cherry Grove.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Danny remembers it, Todd. You don't remember it.
He's older than I am.
Is that what it is? All right, Carrie, my mom left my brother in the car in downtown Sardinia, quote unquote, to go into the dime store while he slept. He woke up and walked to the bank. Now, how old was your brother, Carrie? How old was he at the time? That was Dylan. All right, Beth says, yes, one in the middle of town, this phone booth. Danny, it was for the off chance Clark Kent was in town. Yes, in case Sardinia needed saving by Superman, he had a phone booth right there in the middle of town.
Too super.
Too super. Don asked, "Do you remember the drive-up payphones?" Yes, indeed. Miss Wilson, very good question. Where does Superman change now with no phone booths?
So the drive-up payphones.
Phone booths. No, phone booths.
Booths. Drive-up payphones, where were they located?
You'd see them every once in a while. And I can't, off the top of my head, remember exactly where one was, but you would have them every so often. Carrie, yes, the boiler room was the teacher's lounge at Sardinia Elementary.
Oh, kind of frightening.
That was a truly scary place.
But
especially after Nightmare on Elm Street came out.
But if you got picked to go in there and clean those chalkboard erasers, you were royalty. Yeah, you didn't want to get your finger in that thing.
And when that big bladder would fill up, that bladder of air.
Yeah. Looked like a swollen penguin stomach. I would like to have one of those. I mean, you see all kinds of these antique things at auctions and things. I've never seen an old eraser cleaner like that. Which maybe it wasn't a real thing. Maybe it was something that just Mr. Hardiman made. Maybe he fabricated it or something. We had the only one in Brown County. Who knows? But it was.
Well, I'm telling you, if Noble Hardiman created that thing, he's more great than I ever thought he was. He should have marketed it if he created it.
And he's already pretty damn great. So yeah.
Well,
right.
yeah, exactly.
But maybe.
Miss Wilson, Mr. Forsyth smoked cigars. It was a great day.
That is true.
Oh
man.
Go ahead, Todd. We'll get some of these other comments later.
Biking without a helmet. I never owned a helmet for biking purposes, but
no.
Bike helmets just really weren't really a thing. Neither were elbow or knee pads when it came to stuff like roller skating. At least it forced us to be extra careful and aware when we were riding around. So yeah, I didn't own I didn't own any kind of knee padding, elbow padding, head padding.
So I'm going to tell on myself here. There were times I wish I had some padding for my bike. A few times in particular where I'd be riding, and as I rode, like my shoestrings were too long or something, and then they got as I pedaled, the shoestring would get wrapped around the inside of the pedal.
Sprocket.
To the point of you could no longer pedal because your shoestring was tied so tight your foot couldn't move, and all you could do is just fall over.
Slow-mo fall.
No. Exactly.
So what kind of bike seats did you guys have as utes? Did anybody have the banana seat?
Oh yeah.
My first bike had a banana seat.
Yeah, there was nothing made you feel like a bigger dork than riding a bike with a banana seat. And I had one with a shiny red banana seat. It was all bedazzled and sparkly.
Mine too.
Yeah. So not only was it a banana seat, but you could see it from miles away in the dark because it was so crystally.
Yeah.
Also, not the most comfortable of seating in the world.
Well, I mean,
true, but seats got less comfortable. When bikes like the you get into like the BMX style bikes or whatever they call them, and they had the little. Remember they got smaller and smaller, and the seats were plastic.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's because you really didn't sit on them much. You kind of just stood while you.
And if you sat on it when you hit a bump, you would become a eunuch because it was just like a hard. It was, boulder.
Yeah,
pulverizing.
you definitely needed to wear a cup and a reverse cup to wear to ride bikes.
One of those karate cups that goes up and under.
Yeah, up again it
and
in it.
So the seat don't get in it. Oh man.
All right. Next, being a latchkey kid. Adults were busy working and doing stuff, so it was just easier for us to be able to let ourselves in when we got home from school. And if you had younger siblings, chances are you'd be the one in charge of keeping them alive till your parents got home. As far as our parents were concerned, if you were old enough to be able to dial 911, then you were old enough to be responsible for younger kids.
My whole summers were latchkey. My parents would go to work, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
On my own, to my own devices.
I remember an after-school special about latchkey kids, and I had no idea what it was, and I was expecting this horrible thing like latchkey kids were like serial killers that lived under the stairs, and they were just kids that stayed at home by themselves for a couple hours, and I'm like, why is this a special? You know?
Because Linda Liming was always at home providing a great life for you, Brady.
Yes, until no doubts there.
Yeah. Next.
We have more comments if you want me to.
Let me do one more. Let's do one more.
Go ahead.
Buying cigarettes and alcohol for your parents. Again, adults were busy people, so if they didn't have time to run to the store to pick up the essentials, they'd send us off with some cash or even a signed blank check and a note for the cashier, and no one ever questioned it. And then it says here on the note, there's a sample note. Please sell Lenny 1 pack of Marlboro 100s. If any questions, please call. Thank you, Bonnie.
Were they menthols?
It doesn't say menthols.
I know when my mom would go to the track and she would send me to get her cigarettes and beer.
Yeah, you can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be able to say something like that, so I could be on an after-school special, but it wasn't to be.
All right, some comments. Danny is 6 months older than you, he says. Howard says, on Saturday he saw a payphone in the middle of a field on State Route 73 between Hillsborough and Wilmington. So there's a payphone out there.
Was it upright, or was it just laying down?
I don't know. Don says Georgetown has one, and that would be a drive-up payphone. Has meaning it's still there, I guess. I don't know. And Beth says there's also, or was also a drive-up payphone at the Decatur Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that Haircut 100?
No. It's called Circus. I don't know.
What are you, 80? Well, I mean, mute that bad boy. Not only that, it took you 5 minutes to find the button.
Well, I don't usually do it on my tablet, so I didn't know where it was.
It's like my dad trying to shut his phone off in the middle of a concert.
Joe says Superman changes anywhere because everyone's eyes are staring at their phones. This is true.
Oh, good point.
Miss Wilson says the payphone is probably for Amish use. They have them set up in booths outside their land for them to use.
So one could walk their Clydesdale by the phone. Who would the Amish call?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. All right. Amy stuck in the house. Welcome.
Hello, Amy.
Elbow and knee pads were for sissies.
I do remember the first pair of elbow and knee pads I had to get is for rollerblade hockey, and I felt silly.
That's true. That's true, Danny. That's why we started to wear our hats under our helmets.
Danny says helmets were for spreading lice at Little League.
We had very stupid lice in the 80s. It couldn't find its way out of the helmets and through your hat.
Josh says Payne was the best educator. No helmets or padding.
Like the monkey bars in the 70s.
Amy said she once hit a curb and blacked both of her eyes, scratched her glasses, and had road rash all over, including her back.
Oh, that sounds like an airbag kind of needed. bike wreck.
Howard says, biking without a helmet? I thought you said Viking without a helmet.
Did I just hear a dog flop its ears?
You did. That would
I know
be
that sound.
Roots.
Yes. Yeah. Where it sounded like a pterodactyl landing on the roof.
His ears are probably pterodactyl size.
Diana Newman in the house. Welcome.
Hello, Diane. Hello, Aunt Diane.
Yes, my aunt too. But we're not related. Me and Todd have the same aunt, but we're not related. Mr. Daniels would put on a Bill Cosby album and go to the teacher's lounge. He had it timed exactly to where a bad part would be, and would come back and skip over that part, then go back to the lounge. So that time was probably measured in cigarettes. I can get through this lung dart, then I got to go back to the room and skip the record, and then I can go have another heater, and then
hopefully nobody fell asleep.
Eric's using all of his hip words for cigarettes.
Exactly.
Heater, lung dart.
Lung dart. Don says she did a great job at keeping Danny D-Claire alive. So I guess someone had to do it. Beth, heck, 911 even didn't get out there until... that's true. We didn't have 911. You actually had to dial a number to get someone to come with the ambulance or whatever. Amy said she bought her dad chew on many occasions. Of course, now back in the day, of course, we talked about this before when we talked about the tobacco festival. You could get free samples of chew in Ripley. The tobacco festival, no matter what your age was.
My fifth graders will attest to this. It's like I teach life skills. It's kind of about tobacco and alcohol and things like that. Well, anyway, I told them, like, guys, seriously, when I was in junior high, they gave us what we thought was candy in these little baggy things, and they were Skull Bandits, but we thought it was some kind of newfangled gum, and it was crazy. They gave it to us.
Whoa. Did you actually put one of those in your mouth and chew it?
I didn't chew it. I just put it in and
I've never heard this story.
The Brown County Fair, right before I got on the Ferris wheel, man. It was walking through the floral hall, and they were giving these out, like these little sample packs that had like 4 Skull Bandits in it. And my friend Becky Cluxton is out there. She was there when they handed it to me. And I'm like, don't put that. It's like, what? She's like, it's tobacco. I said, it's not tobacco. It smells like gum. Why would they be giving me tobacco? I'm 12. And
what kind of gum is it? Brown? And
I was a naive Ute.
So you put it in your mouth, and then what?
I was like, oh, it's kind of getting soggy. This kind of tastes like anus. And then I threw it away and drank my Coke.
You're lucky it didn't get you, man. You're lucky it didn't get you. If you'd have swallowed a couple rounds of that backer juice, you wouldn't have been getting on the tilt-a-whirl.
It would have been called the Great Tilt-a-Whirl Incident of 82 or 83.
It would have been much better had you got on the tilt-a-whirl with the thing in your mouth. That would have been infinitely better.
It would have been the tilt-a-hurl.
Our friend Doug, like I said, I've told that story. That's how I met my friend Doug, after he yacked on the girl he was dating at the fair, yacked on her shoes after the tilt-a-whirl.
There is, I can't think of very many sicks, like getting sick from tobacco. That is one of the worst sicks you can get.
Never happened.
Levels of sick?
That's pretty, yeah.
That's up there. It's documented by the Sandlot, so it must be true.
All right, next.
I want to put this up here first. God bless Katie Foster. Agreed.
Amen.
God bless Katie Foster.
Amen. Next, we have giving kids beer for fun. Considering how laid back most people were about smoking, it's not surprising that alcohol would be any different. It's not like we actually enjoyed it when we were that young anyway. So, yeah, I can remember that. I mean, it was nothing. Everybody's got a picture of themselves as a toddler with a beer bottle turned downward in your mouth. I don't know if we were actually drinking it or not, but
I remember pilfering a drink of my aunt's Matilda Bay wine cooler. Back in the day, because this is how you felt like you were living on the edge. But Matilda Bay wine cooler doesn't exactly shout out old granddad.
Were you offered the Matilda Bay wine cooler, or did you actually pilfer it and stole it?
No. I asked her if I could try it.
Oh,
I think it
okay,
came in a like a bag box thing, like a big
'Cause
juice
you-
box.
because you
That's
said
something-
pilfered, which kind of led me to believe that you snuck up and took a drink.
Nah, I just would go with the fact that it was kind of against the law, so pilfering kind of fits, but it's not accurate.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
I didn't get to experience that when I was a youth because my parents didn't drink, and there was always a couple bottles of beer in the refrigerator, but I was not to touch it because it was there for beer bread, damn it, and you didn't mess with the beer bread ingredients. It was
Never.
there for months. I think the same the same 6-pack of beer was in my house from the time I was born to the time I left school.
True story. Somebody got my mother for Christmas. It was a small bottle of peppermint schnapps to make those hot chocolate, peppermint patty things. And I swear to God, that bottle of peppermint schnapps, that same one from like 1981, was in her refrigerator, I think, until about 4 years ago.
Or as Pete Fiskus calls it, schnapps.
Snout. It's like something a dog would drink.
Schnapps. All right. Showing up unannounced is next on the list. Sometimes the easiest way to see if your friends were home and wanted to hang was just to go knock on their door. Because if you tried calling, you might have to talk to their parents. And that was a no-no. You didn't want to have to do that. But that wasn't the only thing we did at other people's houses. That will be impossible today. Oh, that's going to segue into the next one, so I shouldn't read that. But anyway, I can remember that. I mean, once you had a way to get from point A to point B, you didn't really call to see if anybody was home. You just went.
Yeah.
Ventured in.
And if they weren't home, you just pedaled your bike or whatever back home and tried again later.
So something on the calling, just on when we talked about payphones and such. We, up until probably, I may have been in high school or close to it, we had a party line. So you could pick up the phone and hear other people talking, and you had to wait for them to finish their conversation before you could call. We were on a party line with the people across the street. So I don't know if you got a price break for that or what.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you've talked about that before. We didn't have anything like that.
Who thought that was a good idea? I mean, you could.
Was it an idea or was it just out of necessity? Was it just technology hadn't?
I would say Sardinia's switch system had not come up to the 80's at that point, so you just had to have a party line.
It's like in Andy Griffith, whenever he would pick up the phone, it would be Cloris or Mabel or somebody on the other with the same operator that,
Speaking of which, I always wanted one of those phones where you had a little thing you like put on your ear and you talked into the box on the wall. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah,
And
it
you
looked
had
like
to
an air
turn-
traffic control tower you were talking into.
And you had to turn the little thing to make it ring to make a call.
All right, now this next one, I don't know if it's changed much. I still see this in yards as I drive through town and things like that. But it says just tossing your bike on the lawn of whatever house you were at. Whenever we'd bike to a friend's house, we basically just drop our bike on the lawn and head inside. It made it super easy to find where your friends were. But if you tried this now, chances are you'd never see your bike again. And I had a bad habit of leaving.
Bad commentary.
Aunt Diane could probably tell you I had a bad habit of leaving my bike everywhere. I'm pretty sure I left it in her driveway and yard and everything a time or two. So it was just something you did. I don't know why we didn't put our bikes up anywhere. There was nowhere to put them. I mean, like you were going to get on it again soon.
Did you get yelled at?
Oh, I'm sure I did. Yeah. By who? By Diane? Not by Aunt Diane. No, she would have never yelled at me. But I'm sure I got yelled at.
The skilled 80's ute could do that. Toss in the yard, dismount simultaneously.
Oh yeah, you jump off and let your bike just keep going.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not like we had a hitching post to put our bikes, out in front of every house. I mean,
yeah, the only place that had a little place to put your bike was the school. You
was
put
the
it in
school?
little,
yeah,
whatever you call that thing. But,
had a multi hitching post.
yes.
So you could ride your yak to school if you needed to. Tie it
I
up.
say I got a yak. It don't mean I have a hairy buffalo living in my backyard.
Oh my!
I don't know what you're trying to say there, but that's funny. Sorry, I have a bunch of people who are bearing their souls here, and I have to share this. This is outstanding stuff.
Let's hear those
Guitars is
bare
our
souls.
Okay. So Howard says Brown County did not have 911 until 1996. So before that, the latchkey kids were SOS, which is true. Miss Wilson says we had to go to the bonded gas station to get Dad his Viceroys. There's a brand of cigarette. I don't know, Miss Wilson. I don't know your dad, but I could probably give an accurate description of him just because he smokes Viceroys. I think every cigarette brand had its consumer that it catered to.
Were those cigarettes or cigars?
Cigarettes.
They were cigarettes?
Viceroys were cigarettes, I believe.
Gotcha.
Dutch Masters were the cigars, right?
Or backward smokes.
Just realized my microphone hat is ripped. I'm going to turn that where nobody can see it. There you go. There you go. Forget you ever saw that.
Are you feeling a little exposed there?
Skinning her back there. Accidentally.
Danny would imagine that Brady's system would have an auto reject for the skull. So here's where the... Go ahead.
As I say, I don't think it was between my cheek and gum long enough for me to...
I just want to say it probably seems longer than what it actually was.
Yeah, then I figured out it would, oh, this is real. I better get rid of this.
Did you actually say out loud, this tastes like anus?
If it was 1983, I would have said rectum. But no, I'm kidding. I just probably since it was early 80s, I probably said grody to the max or something like that.
All right. Beth says the best tobacco story is Angie Hamilton, God rest her soul, and Brian Cowan when she swallowed that stuff.
Yeah, that's something though that if you're see, I don't know if she's listening tonight, but she can attest to this. But it's no secret that I dipped for years. I chewed tobacco for years.
It was a secret.
Many a nights, unfortunately, where she accidentally drank some dip spit. So she.
I would say if serious?
I would say if anyone's being honest, they would probably say that if they have a spouse that chews or dips, that they've accidentally.
Thought it was the Coke or something, or
yeah. It's a nasty habit. I quit. All right, leave me alone, man.
Brady's about to vomit.
Oh man, that hit me kind of.
So Carrie says a classmate and her found a pack of smokes at the Founders Day Festival and chained them all.
What were you in Greece, Carrie? Who calls them smokes? Were they rolled up? Were they rolled up in somebody's sleeve? When
you call them lung darts or heaters, not smokes.
Right before they raced for pinks.
Moving on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, now you broke Todd. I broke him last week. Now you broke him this week.
And I'm feeling quite the way you felt last week, Eric.
So Allison's take on our conversation here is some of those things we're mentioning here tonight still happen in Alabama. So Alabama's stuck in the 80s, she said in another comment. Don verifies you did get a price break on the party line. Also in the country where Grandma lived, several households were on the same line because they were limited. So yes, it was a switching issue. And Diane also says party lines used to be cheaper than private lines. So there was a price break involved.
Can't imagine.
Yeah.
Miss Wilson, several of my brother's friends would show up. They would just sit and talk with my dad if my brother wasn't home. All right. Wendy has a blank comment there. I don't know what she was trying to. Wendy, if you have a comment there to add, please do.
Speechless.
Oh, yeah. Not surprisingly. Maybe she was broken like Todd was about your comment.
All right, so the next one is definitely a no-no. And again, disclaimer, we don't condone this whatsoever. but it's a fact. So I didn't make this list. I'm just reading it. Drinking and driving. It's not that drinking and driving wasn't illegal or that it wasn't terrible. It's that in the days before MADD, a lot of people, MADD, didn't see cracking open a beer on the road as a huge problem. Chances are if you got caught, the cops would just make you pour your drink out or pick who they thought was the least drunk to take over driving before sending you on your merry way. So, again, not a good idea, but it was it definitely was something that was not as... I don't know. I guess there was.
I remember when that became a big push.
Yeah,
that was early '80s.
Yeah. Yep.
Just say no.
Just say no. Yeah. Next, we have littering. It wasn't that environmentalism didn't exist, just more that most people didn't really care. Plus, recycling was only something those dirty hippies did. Again, I didn't make the list, but I don't really remember a big recycling push until. It seems like the 90s is when I remember it kind of really taking off.
Yeah.
But then again, I wasn't at a lot of places where, it was.
Now, I will say it seems like the push against littering came more in the 70s than the 80s. With the commercial with the Native American with the tear rolling down his eye. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Honked off Smokey Bear.
But I don't really remember it being much more than just a TV spot or a commercial. I don't really remember it being. I don't remember seeing the signs and seeing the the special cans and things like that until about the 90s. Yeah. But then again, maybe it's just because I wasn't paying attention until the 90s. Next on the list, bringing peanut butter in your lunch. There were plenty of kids back then that had peanut allergies, but peanut and other allergy bans just weren't a thing. To make things worse, EpiPens didn't hit the market until 1987. So if you had a severe allergy, you pretty much just had to hope you wouldn't die.
Apparently, I had an allergy to my peanut butter that day in 4th grade that we've discussed.
So do you still eat peanut butter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The peanut butter did not have the effect on me that the Big Mac did later on.
And now people put peanut butter on burgers. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Maybe it was because I did get some positive feedback from my vomit of the peanut butter sandwich. Maybe that's why I did not shun peanut butter in my life after that.
Trying to find the right light here, guys. Sorry. It's hard to do here backwards. All right, next on the list. Waterbeds. And the funny thing about this is that bed right there, I had the exact same model of waterbed as that right there. That's my bed. And that's not actually my bed, but I had that one or that model. And it says we all thought they were so cool and we all totally wanted one at the time. But now if someone told you they had a waterbed, they would honestly seem a little creepy.
Yeah. He said.
Startled me. Sounds like Sasquatch raising hell out in the backyard.
Bark until right this second.
Apparently, Moose doesn't like waterbeds.
So, did anybody else have a waterbed? Did either of you have a waterbed?
My parents had a waterbed. Yes.
The waterbed did permanent damage to my jaw. So
you weren't supposed to drink the water from it, Brady.
No. But it was, and this story is so specific because it was my very last night as a high schooler. So it was the day before the last day of school, and I stayed at my friend Brian's. His brother was somewhere else, and I slept on his brother's waterbed, and it was one of those super wavy ones. And I woke up the next day, and I was like, when I fell asleep, it dislocated my jaw. And I had to go to get this thing made at the orthodontist that looks kind of like a plastic can opener that goes in your mouth. And it really messed up my jaw sleeping on this waterbed. But I felt so much better because I felt stupid. And then the orthodontist said, no, it's like, no, don't feel bad. We probably get about 5 or 6 of these a week.
Really? Well, I know that the damn things would, if you happen to stick a hand or an elbow would slide down in between the bed frame and the I mean... You'd lose a finger down in that thing.
Eat your arm, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, they were like a giant, if you kind of peeled it back a little bit, you would see that every every dust particle, they were impossible to keep clean.
Oh, yeah.
The underbelly of them. And, but now they had
Cheerio from 1960.
Oh yeah, they had two different, maybe more than two, but I know that of at least two because we had them in our household. Two different types of water beds. You had the one with the one giant bladder, bed bladder, and it was the most wavy. It was the most, but then like my parents had one that was like 6 or 7 different bladders, like skinny bladders that were individual, and it was they were also filled with water, but it wasn't as
Yeah, it had some kind of like layer that went on top of it, so it wouldn't be like sleeping on Jello. Yeah.
I believe it was the precursor to the sleep number bed, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
But I just water beds. And then plus you always had to worry about them, busting, and pencils, especially if I always had pencils in my back pocket and stuff like that.
You didn't feel dirty. Yeah. Oh, God.
Got more comments here. Danny chimes in. The only recycling was pop bottles. Yes.
Definitely.
Nothing better
Yeah.
than going around town and finding all the glass pop bottles and turning them in and buying baseball cards and such.
Yes.
Kelly had a water bed.
Hello, Kelly.
Welcome, Kelly.
Kelly.
Dawn, interesting fact, peanut butter wasn't big until the Reese cup. It was thought only as a substitute for protein. Cool show on the History Channel this month. There you go.
Wow.
You learn something new every day.
More of a reason for me to like Reese cups.
There you go. Wendy also had a water bed perfect during pregnancy.
Okay, talking about the water beds. I didn't quite know what that comment was about.
Yeah, that was a water bed, yes. Carrie said rich folk had those.
That's right.
I don't know what that's referring to there.
Well, he's still talking about the water bed.
But did we poke a hole in the water bed with a sucker? Is that what that was?
Or were they talking about the tobacco? Was it?
Oh, I think it was the water bed. Disa said you look like Chuck, Todd.
Well, thank you. Chuck's a handsome man.
Chuck
And hello, Disa.
Carrie. I don't know. This is a side conversation.
That conversation, you got to fill us in. You have hot dogs on the water bed, or what? What's going on here?
Hot dogs, smokes, and water beds.
Yeah,
you'll lose a hot dog in a water bed. Let me tell you.
Or something like that.
All right. Next on the list, I'm going to skip a couple, but we have gender-specific classes. Basically, every high school had these classes, but only girls could take home ec, and only guys could take shop classes. Seems especially silly since both teach some pretty important basic life skills, but that's just the way things were. Now, I do remember taking a home ec class in high school. I learned how to make omelets. I don't think I've made one since, but I remember...
When you said gender-specific classes, I thought we were going down the route of, in 5th grade where the boys got an extra 45 minutes of recess and the girls had to go to a gender-specific class.
No,
it's just forbidden. I think it just means
it just means like shop and home ec and things like that. But again, I don't know if at one time, maybe before our time, if they were only females allowed to take home ec, or I don't know. But I know when I was in high school, boys could take home ec, and I don't remember any girls taking shop, but I'm guessing they were allowed to.
Well, we had a couple classmates that turned out to be the probably the smartest guys in the whole class. They took home ec.
Yeah.
And I look back on it and say, well, why didn't I do that? Because that's where all the girls were. It's like, why did I do that?
In those conventions, it was like the girl to guy ratio is 20-1. God, I was envious.
Then they go off to the state convention or something, and probably the ratio was like 50-1 or something. I don't know. It's just,
man.
Missed opportunities.
All right, gentlemen. Reel her back, gentlemen. Reel them back in. Here we go.
Reel back in.
Violence and nudity in PG movies.
Violence or violence?
Violence. I didn't enunciate well enough. Violence and nudity.
Did you say ute?
In PG movies. Now, my cousin Johnny, my dad's going to get pissed off. You're making me enunciate even more, Eric. They don't like that. All right. The PG-13 rating didn't exist until 1984, so before that, PG movies got away with a lot more. Then Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Gremlins came along, and people realized the gap between PG and R was maybe a little too wide.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said 16 Candles had full frontal nudity, and it was PG-13.
Yeah.
And there was an F-bomb, too.
Well,
Yep.
yeah. I think you can have one F-bomb in a PG movie. I know you can.
Think so.
Yeah. Well, what's the one movie that's rated G that always I can't think of what it is. There's a war movie, might have been a John Wayne movie or something that was rated G. I can't think of it though. Somebody else, Howard will probably know what I'm talking about. But so that just trickled down. So PG could get by with more. So G could get by with.
Oh yeah.
Get by with more. Fake wood on everything. A holdover from the 1970s, fake wood paneling was everywhere. On our walls, on our cars, even on our electronics. It was just as hideous then as it is now, but apparently we were blind to it. Some monsters have tried to make it have a comeback, but fortunately it never seems to last.
We always called the station wagons beaver wagons because they had the the wood panels on the side, and those were always cool. That's really what they were called. That's a legit term.
Beavers aren't made of wood.
Well, yeah, but
right. Last one on the list. Playing outside unsupervised. When we weren't in school, basically our parents would kick us out of the house at the earliest opportunity, and we weren't supposed to come back until either dinner or dark, whichever came first.
So the street lights came on.
Yeah, unless you lived on Staten Road, there were no street lights. You had to run home in the dark, right in front of the woods.
Yeah, Eric, how many games of basketball or wiffle ball got killed because twilight fell?
Many.
Well, if you didn't have electrical tape over the bat and the ball, it wasn't a real game of wiffle ball, fellas.
That's a fact too.
Yeah.
All right, more comments.
None of those big fat red plastic bats either in wiffle ball. Those things. Those are for losers.
Because you had to tape up the ball and you had to tape up the bat with electrical tape.
Yep.
All right. Kelly says, no, I didn't have a waterbed. So I don't know what that conversation was over there, but
we'll have to get more details about this.
Again, you have to fill us in. Derek says his wife had a waterbed in high school, took it with us to Fort Campbell. Don't know what happened to it from there.
Yeah, they tend to just disappear. It's weird. Nobody really knows what happens to their waterbed.
Howard says waterbed had a whole different meaning if you had to share a bed growing up.
Oh,
true.
True.
Sabrina, welcome, Sabrina.
Hello, Sabrina.
Sabrina.
I can't fall asleep on my waterbed without my bedtime pencils in my pocket. It's a real problem.
That's right.
Sabrina's hilarious.
Danny says, I think Beth took shop.
Did you, Beth?
Beth chimes back.
Drawing.
Brandy and I did take mechanical drawing. And then goes on to say they wouldn't let me take shop, but did take me out of home ec and put me in ag.
See, Beth, then you missed out on looking for striped paint. You missed searching for the board stretcher all through the building. You missed all that fun stuff.
Yeah. The board stretcher.
All right. Well, that was such a great list. We went well beyond our 20 minutes on that.
It's fun.
It was very fun. All right. So we'll do this bit of housekeeping right now.
I've been watching the Goldbergs, and that kind of got me in the mood for something 80s. So
yeah,
great show, by the way. If you don't check it out,
outstanding show.
Yes.
All right. Please go to our website, playitbyyourpodcast.com/support. Look into our memberships. They support our work on the podcast, and there's more information there. Once again, playitbyyourpodcast.com/support. And we have many thanks to our members /Earbud Hall of Fame, Joe Rocky, Christina Rocky, Chuck Griffin, and Jessica Longacre. We thank them all.
Thank you, guys.
For their support.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, so STD in the house.
Hello, STD.
Yes, speaking of 80s movies, they did a show on the Breakfast Club this past week. I got to partake in that. I'm sure it will be hilarity.
Nice.
All right. Carrie says she was not allowed in shop. But all this, I had no idea it was going on around me. All this.
I know.
When you say you weren't allowed, by whom? Who?
Yeah.
I'm
Who
interested.
kept
to know.
you from your
Who kept
shop?
You from it? Let me at him.
Desires?
Let me at him.
Was that a guidance counselor thing, or was that what was that?
Oh, so you got to look. Which one? The board stretcher or the striped paint? Matt looked for a week.
That must not be just an Eastern thing. I taught at Lynchburg, and they sent kids around the school looking for the board stretcher as well. It must just be an ag thing or a shop thing. All right, little promo here. STD has Right Said Fred coming on in 2 weeks.
Do you mean the Right Said Fred?
That's huge.
Huge. Spoken Frederick.
Is he going to wear his see-through vest?
What'd you say, Brady?
The correct spoken Frederick. More formal. If I were meeting him, I would have to call him Mr.
If you guys caught that, you need to call him that. You should call him that when he's on your show. I say him.
Yeah.
Is it a band? Is it a person? Is it? It's a group? But
welcome to Mr.
Right
Correct Spoken Frederick.
Gotta wonder if that guy's held it together. See if ask him if he's still built the way he was when he was younger.
He was put together.
Yeah,
he was too sexy for a shirt.
Through the guidance counselor. Oh my goodness.
That's it. Beth was in on keeping it going. The search. Howard says he took home ec as a freshman. That's where all the girls were. That's why I took it. Yes, Howard, you were smarter than me and Brady.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I knew we could take it. I just don't think a lot of people did. But it was.
I had to choose between art or home ec scheduling wise, so I took art.
Yeah. You're lost, man.
STD says both of the brothers will be on.
So the Fred brothers, they're brothers. I didn't know that.
Now would it be Right Said Fred?
Right said Fred.
Right Said Fred or Right Said Fred's?
Right said Fred.
Said Fred.
Or is it Fred and Ted? Is it do they
like
they
we were talking about your living arrangements earlier in the week, Todd? Cul-de-sacs or Coles-de-sac? Coles-de-sac.
Coles-de-sac sounds like
it would be
something the Mongols did to villages they conquered.
Oh, hell of a guy. What's sorry, that's my favorite George Carlin line. What's the plural for hell of a guy?
Miss Wilson, anytime you saw a station wagon with wooden sides, you were the first to see it, you would yell Woody and hit someone in the arm.
Nice.
Oh, this is getting deep here. Now, Brady, you'll enjoy this here.
What? Leapin' Lanny?
Leapin' Lanny Poffo showed up naked on the show.
Brady, he's all excited.
Yeah. I heard a story. Conrad Thompson and Tony Schiavone told a story about a certain skill that Lanny Poffo had. I'll have to tell you fellows off air. But...
So, if he was naked and you didn't use this joke, more like leaping. Oh, shit, I messed up.
He tripped on his punchline. You gotta hate that. Oh.
Okay, so instead of leaping Lanny Poffo, limp Lanny Poffo is what I was trying to go with. It was a bit of a PG-13 joke, but I messed it up. Sorry. I don't do that often.
Indeed. Leapin' Lanny met the Queen, or was it Right Said Fred that met the Queen? I'm 100% asking him about the Queen.
Definitely, yeah.
Why not? And he chimes in, Cul-de-sac.
That's what I said. It sounds like something the Mongol invaders would do.
Danny wants to hear your story, Brady, so you need to text it to him since it's not for consumption on the show here.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're going to pick up. We're just going to pick up where Brady left off. I cannot talk tonight.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited about this because right before the internet started going screwy, it was about ready to get all kinds of heaving up in here. So Eric, the website that I had sent you, we are a few down from the top of the B's, where one of the heroes was Buzz Off. He was a giant beeman.
Not Buzzor?
Not Buzzor,
Not Buzzman?
not Buzzra, but it was Buzzoff. Which
As in
sounds like a very
Buzzoff?
passive-aggressive hero name.
Buzzoff?
Buzzoff. And he looks exactly, he's got like a cowl that has compound eyes on top of his head, and it's very comical. And I can't believe that got through research and development. Come on, there's this giant. He could be Murder Hornet. No, what's he going to be? Buzzoff.
What the crap is that on his head?
It looks like he's got two
He doesn't even have a
sunflowers growing on his
stinger.
head. I do remember those wings. Those wings were like see-through, and they were kind of rubberish.
Yeah.
What is he holding? Why would a bee have an axe? A Tommy Hawk?
A Bax.
A Tommy Hawk.
A Tommy Hornet. But yeah, there's just so much about
Man,
this.
he's built like a brick beehive.
Yeah. I think he probably used to be a linebacker for the Steelers and got cut. So he became Buzzoff.
I don't know. I think he was a roadie for Striper back in the 80s.
Oh, hey, don't you be dissing Striper.
Here's what I don't get either, and he's not the only one that had these. Check out his feet. What's the deal with the tri-toed?
Yeah, they're like webbed.
A lot of them have that. Stinkor has that.
Yes. Yes. I guess
Eric,
less
can you-
goes to smell.
Can you pour Stinkor up again? Pull Stinkor up again, just to.
Todd,
Sure.
can you hold off? Oh, yeah, he got, as I said, because it goes
Because we already talked about
alphabetically.
him. We already talked
Yeah.
about him, though, didn't we?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. If it goes, don't worry about it. If it goes alphabetically, it's just.
It does.
Yeah.
So,
Go
Eric,
ahead, Brady.
I want you to move a couple days. This is the one that sent me over the edge. We've got Clamp Champ.
What?
Now,
I'm seeing this before you are, Todd.
Is he what is he? Is he a crab?
he's a man with a giant pincer, like,
Oh my!
so whatever.
So it's like one of those things with a magnet on the back that you like put papers on like you put it on your
Yes.
file cabinet and you just have a clamp.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got like
It
it's like
doesn't-
a vice grip. It's like a big.
Mr. Vice Grip, Mr. Pliers. It says that okay, he had a twist waist and power punch action. Whoa, there went my microphone. I got all excited and laughing. So anyway, but yeah, I don't know what Clamp Champ, what his claim to fame is, but all I know that he could clamp down on it like a champ.
But why the turquoise vest? Why I don't understand the color arrangement there. I mean, he's got red tights on and red
It's
Black
the
and
80s,
yellow is
man.
thinking.
It's the 80s.
Yes, I guess. Okay.
All right, couple comments here, Brady.
Here we go.
All right, the Beeman rejected by Honey Nut Cheerios.
After he got on the steroids, he lost his job. He had to become Buzzoff.
Derek adequately describing him as a duck-footed carpenter bee. STD says he indeed had a stinkor.
You had Stinkor, capital S, so he means the
Yes.
Stinkor. He had
the
Stinkor.
stinkor.
Yes. I had Stinkor.
Also says that weapon would come out and clamp the action.
Clamp him by the Prince Adam if he's not careful.
So-
All right, Brady, proceed. Getting choppy again.
oh,
Getting choppy again.
it would be a cringer. Oh, okay. Nobody got that joke. Maybe.
We're laughing. It's just
So if you go
we're laughing in the
from
future,
Clamp
my
Champ,
friend.
We're gonna go into the villains. He just was awful. He was. Oh, crap! Not now.
Yes, now.
Yes. Actually, about 2 minutes ago.
Is it better? Ah.
Try
yes.
try kicking him out and
Yes, Derek, clearly nobody got that joke because it was like a minute behind. It's like, I kicked you out, Brady. Get yourself in order. He-Man being shadow banned by Facebook. Seems to be what's going on here. All right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to make an executive decision again. Since I have the finger of power, as Dan calls.
There it is.
Now Brady's going to come back in. All right. Brady?
Yes. This better work.
Still,
because I'm going to be really upset.
I think you may be upset. All right.
Ah.
I'm removing you again. Restart.
All right, so Eric, you have his list. You have his.
I do have his list, so we can still go down the list here.
Okay. So you just pull the picture up, maybe each one of them.
Yep, we'll do. All right, so I'll just pick out ones that catch my eye here. We have, and again, I think maybe Masters of the Universe was a bit. I think I was a little too old. Maybe this may be more in your wheelhouse.
It definitely was right smack dab in the middle of my wheelhouse. Yeah.
All right, so we have.
What the hell?
It's what was it called? I forgot the look. Comatroid.
Kool-Aid Man-or?
Something like that.
He looks like the poor man's Kool-Aid man.
Okay, so the description: the Meteorbs represented Mattel's attempt to get in on transforming the toy craze, the Transforming toy craze, so Transformers, GoBots, etc. So
does he transform into one of those big balls that had the handle on top that you just bounce down the gym floor? Is that
hold on? We transforming picture here. Do you see that?
Ooh, I see it. I don't know what it is, but I see it. Just a ball. He just turns into a ball.
Yeah, he goes in. Yeah, he goes kind of inside of himself.
He turns into a pantyhose egg.
Legs.
Oh man. Yes. Is this better?
Yes, it is.
All right.
All right. You just missed pantyhose man guy.
Yeah.
Pantyhose man guy.
Pantyhose egg man guy.
So, did you get to talk about Clawful?
No.
Oh, so it had to be a villain of some kind to be called Clawful. He wasn't just awful; he was Clawful, and I bet we could guess what his deal was.
I'm guessing did he have a giant claw? Did he have just one giant claw?
One giant claw, because I guess in the He-Man Masters of the Universe, you can only have one adapted appendage.
Gotcha. Well,
would that make you too powerful if you had more than one?
I think so.
Oh yeah, I had him. The claw actually.
You had Clawful?
Oh yeah, I had most of them at one time, but the claw had you could control it. It had a little lever in the back of it that you could control. And the cool thing about him was his head was, you could tell his head was rubber. Like you could tell it's a different material than the rest of it. He's still got the same feet as everybody else, and then he's got some sort of green trinket. I don't know what his weapon is there.
A mace.
Yeah.
It's a claw that's clawful.
That's the claw right over here. The green.
I meant the green part. The green. It looks like
a
jewel. Yeah, but yeah, I remember him. What was his name? Clawman?
Clawful.
Oh.
Clawful. He wasn't awful. He was clawful.
Why not claw-or? That would be too hard to say.
That's a little bit, what do you call it, clumsy to say. What I would like to do, he could have a repurpose use nowadays. The White Claw people could use him. It's like, drink our product. It's not clawful, but he is.
All right, we got comments here. Sarah said, welcome, Sarah. Need to take screenshots when Brady freezes. Too funny.
Oh.
That's probably the funniest thing we've done all evening.
Watching
Brady try to catch up with himself. And I guess Gary may be talking about Fingor Titan of Power. Would that be Fingor right there? Can remove you from the show.
He's
There
gone.
goes.
He's gone. He's gone.
All I had to do was show my finger, and he's gone. What was that there? All right. Danny said the pantyhose guy was Syracuse University's new mascot, the Orangeman. Also says we feel like we get a house tour every week with Brady. That's true, too. STD remembers Clawful. Did you have a Clawful? You sounded like you had a Stinkor. You must be a little younger than me.
It was a good fight
between
between
Todd's age.
Stinkor and Clawful.
Indeed.
Clawful would grab Stinkor by the
anal gland.
By the anal
take
gland.
it out.
Put it in a pouch under the couch.
Please see episode.
There's a new shirt. A pouch under the couch.
Everybody should have one for their anal gland. Oh man! So I'm trying to pull up my list here since
Eric has your list. Why don't,
Oh,
Yeah, I have your list.
oh, that's cool. Scroll down a little bit more.
Well, it's
My list.
just tell me the name because they're all in alphabetical order. So
Well, that therein lies the problem because I can't see the order because my list is shut down. But it's coming right this second. I'm gonna pull it up. Well, this would be a good time to go look at Stinkor possibly,
I can do that. We can bring up
and then
Stinkor.
I could come back to my next one because I have the site. Here it is.
Eric,
you
I
haven't
see
done-
you.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say I see you. Eric missed a comment from my brother. I've never known him to check in and chime in and listen. So
Did I miss
one
a
time
comment from Don?
at one time he commented. He doesn't have Facebook, so he commented through Disa. But anyway, if you're still listening, Donnie, thank you.
He said you look like Chuck. Or was
That was
Disa
Disa.
said that?
That was Disa. Yeah.
So
Don
how do you
said.
know who's-
Because it says Don here. So many girls never got to build a cutting board. That's a shame. I guess he was talking about shop class.
Shop class. Sorry, Dad. I was just thinking about a cutting board. I don't know why.
No, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on your list.
Oh, okay.
There's Stinkor.
There's Stinkor.
The aforementioned Stinkor.
Do you have one with his shirt off?
That seems like a direct thing to.
Well, because you can't see his stripe.
Well, there are 8 images. 8 images of Stinkor.
And none of them.
Well, you
none of them.
can get a side
There
view here.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't have a stripe down the middle. I thought he had a stripe.
Striped
I
I thought he
arm.
had a giant tail.
That one's got some wear and tear. He's got it stuffed in his tights there, Brady.
But
So
there's.
okay, I'm gonna address his fashion again. So first off, can we get a front view again?
Yeah. Here we go.
Now, this isn't fashion, but why are his eyes so big? Skunks
He's
don't have big eyes
nocturnal.
like that. And second off, he's got orange feet, orange undies, an orange vest, but red gloves. I don't understand that.
I don't either. But the fact that he matched his boots with his Stinko,
But then a blue shield.
Yeah, the blue shield. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of feel like we're fashion critiquing these villains a little bit unfairly.
So is the thing that goes up over on his chest piece there that goes up over his nose, is that some sort of is that pumping fresh air into his nostrils so he doesn't have to smell his own ass?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So he's not overcome by his own pungentry.
Yes.
Once he unleashes the
that's what-
Stinkor, he can't. It's so strong that
Yeah.
he can't take it. So he's gonna have the anti-stink nose guards. Wow, nice find, Todd. Oh gosh.
Well,
if you want to go,
they do have like features and descriptions and things. So the smell was made from patchouli oil.
so it
Whatever
smelled like
patchouli-
hippies.
Patchouli oil. Also, a standard twist and release power punch action. How you like that alliteration? Power punch action. Removable orange armor with a blue shield. The stench of evil, the secret liquid of life. Oh, that's outstanding.
So they should have just called him Stinker. I mean, rather than Stinkor. I mean, why change this? Why change the suffix?
Oh, all these comments. Oh, our audience is gold. Stinkor actually came scented like a skunk. I believe we talked about that before you came in.
Did you have to scratch him first, or am I thinking of the stickers back in the day? Did you have to scratch Stinkor to make him stink? I can't remember, but I do know he stunk.
Danny says gloves turned red from excessive anal leakage. Then he says, "Oh, that would be brown." Never mind. I don't know. Maybe skunks would be. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know the color of skunk.
Sabrina says their terrible fashion choices seem to be the most sinister thing about them. It was the 80s.
It's the 80s.
Not only that, but in my opinion, if you want to look opposing to your enemy, I don't think I don't think that thong tights would be the most opposing. Why don't you put some pants on, at least some shorts, something?
Have you seen the rest of the? I mean,
why did everybody had on tights? What was the deal? Was there? I mean,
it was the 80s.
Yeah, but
I didn't wear that.
Olivia Newton-John did.
The Masters of the Universe setting wasn't in the 80s.
Sure it was.
Was it?
I don't know.
No, it was another planet, different time.
It probably was the 80s on that planet. Maybe not one a different time. So STD said, yes, that is true. The power was his scent, which he came with, and that is actually a breathing apparatus. So, Todd, you called it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he also says, no, he was pre-scented.
Apparently everyone doesn't love their own brand.
All right.
He was maybe I'm thinking, because I know Mossman had a smell to him as well, but I don't think he had to scratch him either. He smelled like synthetic moss.
Derek says his kids would be pissed if he brought him home a stinker.
That is true. It's like, hey, I got you Stinker, or I got you Stinkor. I mean, that sounds a little better than...
They were out of He-Man. They were out of Manny Faces, but here's Stinkor. Okay. Now, I want to go on to the next one, because this was one of my favorites. Even probably made me laugh harder than Clawful. So, Eric, if you would direct yourself to the E's in the alphabet, and you will find the female character Evil Lynn, but that's not where you're stopping. The one right underneath of her is Extendor.
No, not Extendor.
Extender.
Extendar. Extendar.
Man, they had all the suffixes.
And there's the aforementioned Extendar. Like, what
gosh. Why is he wearing a... That's just silly.
His talents are legendary.
All right. You know what bothers me right off the bat? The green glove.
He's got a Michael Jackson thing going on.
His other glove's not green.
That's
just it.
It's going to be my answer to every... It was the 80s. Of course he has a Michael Jackson glove.
He's wearing one of those what was that game called, where you had the little the ball that you threw at each other, caught it in the plastic
trackball.
He's got that over his face.
It's basically highlight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Highlight that won't kill you.
Yeah.
Now, I think these two are next to each other because it's kind of really pretty ironic that Extendar is right next to Faker.
Faker or Fakar or Fakor?
Faker. Faker. So they call you Extendar? No, he's a faker.
Can we see? What's he look like? Can we see him?
We'll bring him out. Wow, this is a true close up here. This is get ready.
All up your grill. Okay.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
What? Is he dead?
I was gonna say it looks like Prince Adam's corpse.
Yeah, deado.
Deado.
There's Brady.
Brady's gone again. Let me see if there's a description of him. Description.
Does he have a body?
Yes. Let's see now. The description: twist, waist, and power punch action. This
Nice.
figure was released with an 8-back type of card back. Accessories were sword, removable chest armor, and mech tech sticker on chest.
In tights.
In tights.
Versions.
Has anybody mentioned that he could be from Troublesome Creek, Kentucky?
I was gonna say he is a blue person.
He came in hard and soft-headed versions. Figure was originally released
Depending on
with
how much
a
you wanted to
soft
fake.
head. Later was released with a solid head. Originally released in 1983, later in 1987. And related many comics, The Search for Keldor.
Can we see a full body shot?
Yeah, full body, and he is truly
Oh, there we go.
blue, and he has some sort of thing going on
Got a tape
here.
deck on his chest.
A reel-to-reel tape deck
Reel-to-reel,
on his
yeah.
chest.
Now, see,
He
at
was an
least,
engineer on his.
at least clothing-wise, makes sense. Although his wrist guards are the same color as his skin. I don't quite know how they did that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want you to know he's wearing wrist guards, so you'll think, I see his weakness. He's not wearing wrist guards. And then when you go, faker got me again. He was faking not wearing wrist guards.
Well, it's like every one of these other people, or people, quote unquote, are multicolored. But, I mean, this guy just has the purple loincloth and boots.
Yeah, he matches. He's well dressed.
And the turquoise skin and whatever color hair. I guess that
Now,
orange hair.
His tights have a little more fur. His tights are a little furrier than others.
Oh, this comment. The Hulk and Velma's love child. Nice.
Oh man.
So
Should we?
you want to talk about geeking out here? I mean, let's again comments. STD had Mossman.
There you go.
Had Evelyn.
That's Evelyn.
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 Evil. Of course, it's Evelyn. Derek says, Extendor, the Pfizer mascot.
Right.
Faker was just like He-Man, but robot in blue. So that's why he was a faker.
Hence the faker, yes.
There you go.
Boy, they weren't pulling any punches, were they?
Fake He-Man equals faker. There you go.
It should be Feeman.
Feeman. STD, the ones with the armor sticker shield are worth a lot of money.
Man, I wish I'd have kept my collection.
And he had this one with the soft head.
I think mine was soft-headed too. Yeah. I didn't know that. I wonder if most of them were made with a soft and a solid head, because I know that Clawman or whatever his name was, or
Clawful.
Clawful. had
Mr.
that
Clawful,
soft-
if you're nasty.
All right.
Who's next?
Fisto.
Oh yeah, got Fisto.
And we've got Fisto, but if you had wealthier parentage, you could have had Fisto and Stridor.
Ooh.
Fisto and Stridor.
Which sounds well.
That sounds better than Fistor and Strido. I mean, that would have, was Strido like a vehicle or something he rode?
It was some kind of battle animal.
Yeah.
It looks like an armored horse or
There's
something.
Fisto.
There's Fisto.
Yeah.
Again, his coloration is very simple. Matches. Got the purple sword, the purple loincloth, the purple chest armor, and the sterling chrome fist.
Yes.
Once again, one appendage could be special. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, but yeah, if you throw in Stridor, you definitely had some. You definitely were rocking it out. Now, if you made it to the G's, you were lucky enough to have Gorilla.
Gorilla. I don't remember Gorilla. I have to see him before I remember. I don't remember a lot of their names. I just know when I see the figure that I had them.
I think Gorilla is the relative to one of the ones we looked at when Brady was out on one of his excursions.
Was it Beastman or Beastor?
It was
probably his cousin.
It was the Syracuse Orangeman.
Yeah. That's just a silly looking thing there. That doesn't look intimidating at all.
All right. Well, I got some other. Let's see. He's also a
pantyhose egg.
Yes, indeed. There's the final product. Indeed, an Easter / pantyhose egg. Fun facts: Meteorbs. So these are all Meteorbs. They originally a Japanese toy line of transforming eggs, released by Bandai, called Tamigoras. So they kind of made their way into the He-Man universe, I believe.
Gotcha. I don't remember this line of He-Man.
It's pretty obscure, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe STD knows more than I do about it. But
well, right underneath of Gorilla, 2 down, is the Thing of Nightmares. And his name does not sound particularly. I think it's Gwildor, but Gwildor is definitely the Thing of Nightmares. It's some kind of porcine Satan.
It's like a freaking lawn, whatever.
Was he in the Leprechaun movie?
Yeah.
I think he was. Oh man, it's
got a
terrified me.
Like a mechanical trident, and like an overcoat and like ears.
What's his name?
Gwildor.
He got big feet.
Large feet. And now we're going to do a big time skipping to the L's.
Wait, hang on 1 second, because there's an H I'd like to ask about. Can you pull up the Evil Horde? He was always one of the cooler looking ones, I thought.
The Evil Horde.
Horde. I think that's him right there. I think he's called Horde.
There's Hordak.
Maybe it is Hordak. Let me see if it's
Horde Trooper. Here's Hordak.
That's him. Yeah, pull that up. Yeah,
that's pretty frightening.
I always thought he was a pretty cool looking guy.
He was, definitely.
Has like a crossbow.
Yeah, and the crossbow, I think, has some sort of creature head on it. Yeah, reptile.
Spirit magic helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Twist, waist, and power punch action.
A lot of them had that, didn't they?
Has a white crossbow, removable chest armor and cape, and a bat shield.
Yeah, his shield was shaped like a bat.
That's very cool. He's a scary-looking individual.
Should we be? We're an hour and 38 in. Should we be rounding this thing out?
Probably.
We will. I just rounded out on this next one. We'll stop at the L's, but and this is pretty quick. It doesn't need much. This is quite simply Leech.
I remember Leech.
Oh,
yeah. You could stick him to your refrigerator.
Well, you want to talk about scary?
Yes. I hope he didn't have a first name. But like
Robin.
But yeah. Pedro. But anyway, but yeah, so Leech is just kind of there and scary. It's quick and to the point. You don't have to guess that thing is going to be a succubus of some kind and kill you. It's dangerous.
Are they suction hands? Is that what those things are?
Yeah, like I said, you could stick him to your refrigerator. And
yes, indeed.
His crossbow is the same crossbow in red as Horde had.
Okay, here's the description, and this is kind of funny. Evil Horde's suction master. When the, quote, lips, unquote, are pressed to a smooth surface with the button pressed in and subsequently released, the figure will stick to the surface. Suction cup hands stick to.
Yep.
Accessories, awesome. Red crossbow.
Eric, can you look up one more before we go? Can you look up Beastman real quick, or Beast, or whatever his name was? Because
I think it was Beastman.
Whatever it was, but it was a good idea. but it's like they got lazy and just glued a bunch of fur to a. No, that's not him. That's not the one I'm thinking of. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Then, crap.
That's the only thing that has a beast name.
This guy here's got a. Hang on a second. He-Man figure with hair. See if what that gets.
Oh, I'll tell you what. It's not. It's not man. I'll tell you, it's not Mantenna.
Mantenna.
It's not Mechanic.
He's got a. What was his name? Vintage.
Look at this guy. What is that thing?
I remember him too. His eyes. He had a lever in the back of his head, and his eyes came up.
And Eric, I would like you to really quickly go to the R's because this is particularly for you. If you go to the R's, right past the Road Ripper, I want you to feast your eyes on Roboto, but you should address him formally. He's Mr. Roboto to you.
Mr. Roboto.
Grizzlor, Eric, was the one I was thinking of. Look at Grizzlor real quick. Look at this silly guy.
Mr. Roboto. I
liked it. I had a phone that looked like him. It was like see-through, and you could see all the gears and all the stuff inside of it.
Grizzlor?
Grizzlor, like a grizzly bear, but Grizzlor.
It was like a merkin. He's like Merkin Man is what he ought to be.
You can't say that, can you?
If you don't know what a merkin is, you'll have to look that up.
Yeah, but it just
please don't.
It's like they got lazy and just threw a thatch of hair on a
pelt.
Yeah,
a tuft.
He's got the same bat.
But hey, if you go to S,
Merkelworm.
Wait a minute. Description: figure has hair all over him. That's the description.
He's not terrifying. He does not have super strength. He has hair all over him.
There are two versions of Grizzlor, one with black skin and one with brown.
See, I had that one right there, whatever that one is.
Yeah. Oh, man. If you go to the S's, you can find Snout Spout.
All right.
Oh, we got to cut ourselves off, don't we?
Yeah.
We still have a game to play.
I will put out Snout.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeez. A mechanical elephant. You know who that looks like, Brady? And Todd, I don't know if you remember this or not. Looks like, what was that elephant's name on the Great Space Coaster?
No, not Baxter.
Was it Baxter? Because he had that handle on his trunk, and every time he talked, he'd move his trunk.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't remember what his name is. I know it's not Baxter. But anyway.
Are you sure it's not Baxter? I think Baxter was a clown, wasn't he?
Yeah, he would turn in circles and disappear. That wasn't a drug reference. I don't know what was.
All right. Several comments here. STD, yes, they released a bunch of He-Man post-1983 that made no sense as they kept going. That's a fact. Sabrina, they had to figure out what to do with all those three-toed feet when they melted together in production and this guy's head was born. I don't remember which one, that pissed-off cousin of Yoda with a trident lightsaber. I guess STD also had the leech. STD had all these things.
Yep. Man, we could have put our collections together and had a good time, STD.
Sabrina, the guy named Leach picked a bat as his logo. Whoever agreed with these probably paid a few properties for Pablo Escobar. Oh, Andy.
Andy.
All right. So we finally got through that. All right. So if you ever wonder what we're talking about when we use certain terms, Check out our isms on our website, www.playitbyyourpodcast.com. And there is isms there at the top. So we are to number 3. I need to put myself back to where I was.
There you go.
There we go. Now my world
Back
is...
where you belong.
I want you back where you belong. All right, topic 3 is our game. Our game. All right, audience, you can chime in here. The game is called Chicken or Egg, otherwise known as Poultry or the Ovum game. All right, very simply, Todd and Brady will play the game. We'll go back and forth, and again, very simply, I will give them 2 things. And the question is, which came first? So, audience, you can chime in. Let us know who you feel is correct on these questions. So, we drew straws backstage. Brady, you will play first.
Boo.
Bring it on. Boo, hiss.
All right. Let me get my scoreboard ready. Someone is distressed. Okay, Brady, which came first? Color television or movies in color?
Well, I'm going to have to resoundingly, I'm just going to rely on old-time TV as a ute. That we had a small black and white TV, and that was the 70s. In the kitchen, it did, it was an old TV when I came along, but Wizard of Oz came out in the 30s.
Correct.
So I am going to go the colored movies. The colored talkies came before the TV, the color TV.
So, question:
Yes.
If I agree with him, then do we both get a point if we both get it right, or how does that work? Because I agree with him on this one. I think that the color movies were made, and I think that drove the need for a color television.
Well, this is just a back and forth thing.
Okay.
But
Cause and effect. The color movies, the full color movies, caused televisions to a need for a color television.
all right. So the answer to the question is movies in color came first.
Yeah.
So the first patent for color television was filed in 1904, but the system did not operate successfully. The FCC authorized CBS's color television technology as the national standard in 1950.
Ooh.
The Black Pirate was the only early two-color films that came out in 1925-26. The first three-color Technicolor film was Walt Disney's Flower and Trees that came out in 1932.
I've got a problem with that choice. If you're unveiling your color technology, why the Black Pirate? You should have went with the Magenta Pirate to really show your color palette at your disposal. You could do the Black Pirate with the black and white TV.
Yeah. Why does Brady get a point and I don't get a point? I'm gonna protest this.
Well, you get your chance to get a point this time. This is your question.
You get your point right now, sir.
I know.
The audience, Sabrina says it was color movies first. She was correct. And Miss Wilson, you remember the Wizard of Oz was only in color when they get to the Emerald City. That is correct. All right. Todd, Lifesavers candy or Fruit Loops cereal?
I don't think they had fun cereal until much later. I'm gonna go for fruit. What was the first? Lifesavers.
Lifesavers first.
Yeah.
Brady, just for fun, do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to tend to agree because they were still eating that stuff called Mucilix or whatever, and there wasn't anything fun. It was just basically
I think everybody had
testicles.
Everybody had cream of wheat and grape nuts up until the 80s when cereal started getting fun.
Shredded wheats.
Yep.
Wheat. Yeah, there's hay bales.
Okay, so again, the question was Lifesaver candy or Fruit Loops cereal. Danny says candy. Kyle King in the house.
Okay.
Kyle.
Brady gets 2, Todd gets 1.
Ooh, Kyle.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, Brady, we can't implore the Kyle King rule here. So, Todd, we'll give you a point. We'll give Brady 2. Yeah, I'd forgotten about it. Kyle, I'm glad you're here.
This wasn't the original Kyle King rule. I think this is a new Kyle King rule.
We're going to have to redo the isms then, because there's more than one Kyle King rule now.
We're going to call them the Kyle King codices.
Yeah, I didn't think it was this game with the Kyle King rule. I think it was the one where we did the higher-lower type thing with the...
That's true. Brady, you agree or disagree? You said you agreed with lifesavers?
I do. No. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I agree with the lifesavers.
Okay. And you both are correct.
Yeah.
Lifesavers comes first.
Yeah.
All right. Clarence Crane, a chocolate manufacturer, invented Lifesaver candy as a summer treat that could withstand heat better than the chocolate. Yeah.
Nice.
Makes sense.
He did a good job.
Yes. Fruit Loops cereal launched in 1963, and the Lifesavers launched in 1912.
Wow.
So there you go. All right. So 3-3 is our score. Brady, which came first? And by the way, I can't leave our audience out. Danny Declare says press your luck rules, so that would be 3 for 3 without choice. We only have 2 choices though, so we can't play press your luck rules. Miss Wilson says lifesavers are just round hard tack, which has been around forever. So yes, correct. All right, Brady. Marshmallows in cereal, or freeze-dried fruit in cereal.
Dried fruit has been around as some kind of primitive trail mix for a long time, I think. But the confectionery mallow, I don't think came much later. So I am going to go with dried fruit, like Raisin Bran or something like that. So I'm going to go with the dried fruited cereal.
Like the fruits of the devil?
Yes.
Todd? Fruits or marshmallows?
I guess I never considered a Raisin Bran, a raisin there to be a dried fruit. I mean, I guess it is. It's not...
So dried grapes?
Yeah, it's not a... I just mean like... I picture like the hard banana chips and things like that's what I'm picturing. Just to disagree, it does me no good to... Well, I guess it does, now that we have the Kyle King rule in effect.
Yeah.
I'm going to go marshmallows.
Marshmallows?
Yeah. I'm going to go marshmallows.
The correct answer is freeze-dried fruits.
I knew it.
Fruits.
General Mills product developer John somebody came up with the idea of marshmallows in cereal when he broke up some Circus Peanuts candy on his Cheerios in 1963.
We've heard this before. A different topic, I think, but this has come up before about the Circus Peanuts.
Yeah.
This big orange.
Would you have considered those marshmallows?
Well...
All right. Soon the Lucky Charms cereal brand was launched. Again, that was 1963. Special K with berries was the first of the freeze-dried fruit cereals, launched in 1926.
Wow.
Got myself in a hole here. Got to dig out.
All right. Todd?
Yes.
Spider-Man or the Hulk?
Brady's going to know this. Man.
I don't think Brady knows it.
I think he knows it better than I do.
Spider-Man or the Hulk?
Hulk.
Once again, audience, please chime in with your answers.
I am going to say Hulk.
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 All right. Brady, agree or disagree?
I was on the fence about this one. because like Peter Parker was like one of the first teenage superheroes. That was his selling point. That's what made him unique. That Spider-Man was a Ute. And I think that Bruce Banner came from Cold War technology in the 50s and beating the Russians and the whole nuclear scare. So I'm going to have to, but I'm second guessing myself. I'll go with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, he says. Spider-Man is correct.
Man.
The first Spider-Man story was a one-shot experiment for the comic book Amazing Fantasy, which was about to be canceled. The April 1962 issue proved to be one of the best-selling comics the company ever had, so Spidey kept spinning. The Hulk, also called The Incredible Hulk, was another creation by Stan Lee and first appeared, now get this, Spider-Man appeared in April 1962. The Hulk first appeared in May of 1962, 1 month later.
Goodness.
I knew they were, because that was Stan Lee's like classic period. That's when he was just like the new heroes were coming out, and it was his productive time. But I guessed.
All right, audience said Sabrina said Spider-Man, which was correct, as was Danny with Spider-Man. Miss Wilson incorrect with the Hulk. All right, just to prove that things go around and come around here on this show, our next question, Brady.
Yes.
Which came first, the waterbed or the lava lamp?
Ooh.
I know one thing, you didn't want to have your lava lamp near your waterbed.
That's a fact.
Burn a hole in it.
Burn a hole in that
bladder.
Bladder, yeah. Thank you.
be a big explosion.
I would venture to guess. I would put a $50 bet on that the word bladder has been mentioned more tonight than ever previously. But daggone, guys, I'm struggling with this because the lava lamp we do associate with the 60s. But man, the idea of putting hot water in a bag and sleeping on it probably goes a long way back. But did we have the technology to electrically power it? So I'm going to go against my gut reaction. I'm going to say the lava lamp came first.
Lava lamp. Todd, agree or disagree? It's kind of like the Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, it is.
We just need Paul Lynde.
Need Shadow Stevens.
Charo.
Need Jim J. Bullock, center square.
Madam.
Oh my goodness! I gotta play. I came to play, Eric. I came to play. I'm gonna go waterbed.
Came to play.
I'm gonna go waterbed.
Waterbed is Todd's answer, and waterbed is correct.
I came to play.
The modern vinyl waterbed with the vinyl bladder was invented by a student at the University of California, Berkeley named Charles Hall in 1965. Waterbeds, however, were first developed in 1870s England as a treatment for bed sores.
Yeah.
Craven Walker developed the lava lamp after seeing a liquid-filled lamp at a pub after World War II. He perfected the liquid mixture of oil, wax, and solids. And as the psychedelic movement arrived in the 60s, lava lamp sales skyrocketed.
Groovy, baby.
So there you go. 6-4, Brady in the lead. Todd's question. Todd can tie the game here. Todd, which came first? The National Forest, or, again, as things come back around on this show, Smokey Bear.
I'm guessing that the National Forest, I don't know this, but probably would have had something to do with Teddy Roosevelt, since he was the national park. So let's see. I'm gonna go national forest.
National Forest. Brady?
Where would have Smokey Bear hung out? For not
Smoking lounge. I guess he would poop in the woods. So I'm gonna go with.
Would it be a national woods or just any woods?
I'm gonna have to go along with Todd on this one. National Forest.
National Forest. Both say National Forest, and both are correct. So Brady clings to the 1-point lead, 7-6.
Hanging on.
The National Forest, 1891. The Shoshone Forest was set aside as part of the Yellowstone Timberland Reserve. Smokey Bear did not make his first appearance until 1944, which was actually a little earlier than I thought it would have been.
So I was wrong about Teddy Roosevelt, but still got the right answer.
All right. I'm leaving out our audience here. Back to Spider-Man or Hulk. Sabrina said Spider-Man. I think I already went through those. Sabrina said lava lamp as the first, which was a waterbed there. And a late answer for the Hulk for Jake, which was Spider-Man on that question. Danny said waterbed. Again, that was correct. National Forest says Sabrina. Miss Wilson said the 80s Teacher Lounge for Smokey's Hangouts. Correct. So again, the National Forest was the first. All right. Brady.
Yeah.
Question. Which came first? Bricks or mortar?
Bricks or mortar?
This is the true chicken or egg question here. Which came first, bricks or mortar?
Can you have mortar? Do you need mortar without bricks? Bricks came first, and people were finding their bricks. They would be making their food in their brick houses, but because they didn't have mortar, they would be eating dinner, and one would slide and bonk them on the head. So they decided that mom's oatmeal would keep them in place, and mortar was born. So I'm going to go bricks.
That was a rather fantastical answer to this question. Todd, bricks or mortar?
Bricks.
Bricks. And the correct answer is bricks. Brady extends his lead to 2, 9-7.
I'm Extendor.
Ancient Mesopotamia, around 500 BCE, was the site of the first bricks made from thick clay and mud from the Tigris and the Euphrates, which were reinforced with straw.
Bricks.
The friction between the interlocking blocks of brick is often strong enough to provide a hold of its own. Thus, the use of mortar was non-existent in early civilizations. We don't have a year on the first mortar, however. All right. Your one comment here.
Todd's getting serious. He's breaking out his stress ball.
He does. Yeah.
Stress man.
Stressman.
Stressman. That was a He-Man villain.
Or it could be stress or stress R.
Stressor. Well done.
Miss Wilson with the correct answer, bricks. They're heat formed. All right. Todd, which came first? Curling or hockey?
Ooh.
Curling or hockey?
Well, I know hockey was an Olympic sport before curling was.
True.
But that doesn't answer the question. You know, I tend to think that the equipment to play hockey in some form or another seems a little more. just would have been around longer. But I guess what they used for curling could have been, I guess they could have used a different apparatus other than that tea kettle or whatever that they slide down the ice and squeegee it. I'm gonna go hockey.
Hockey. Brady, agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree, Eric. Did that sound like a game show? I'm going to disagree, Eric. Okay. Because, like, in curling, it's just a big old rock, and they could have used a broom or something from some Swiffery objects to, like, do the thing. And it's pretty simple. Like, hey, I'm going to get that big rock to go as far as I can. And, basically, hockey is kind of like soccer while skating on the field. I'd say I bet time-wise they're probably pretty close. But it just seems like curling came first. Like, I could see primitive man curling. Like fag, throw rock on ice. But hockey takes a little bit more development.
You could just say thag, hit rock with stick.
Yes. And it hit him
the
in the
same
head.
name Brady did. Why'd I get that look? Use the exact same name Brady did. Yet I get a look from Eric like I'm.
I will say this, though. When Thag hit rock with stick and it hit Argo in the forehead, he said puck, but that's not what he said. But that's how the name stuck.
All right.
Nothing, huh?
I got nothing for that. All right. So these stories have gotten way off the beat. You're going to have to tell me what you said again. So
I said hockey.
I said curling.
And Brady said curling. The correct answer is curling was first.
Man.
So the first written record of early curling game dates back to, catch this, 1540. Some Dutch paintings and engravings from the 1560s depict players sliding large discs of wood along frozen waterways.
They were just clearing out a pathway. That wasn't a sport.
That's moving things.
I was going to say, yeah, they were just migrating.
Hockey came about in the 1820s.
Wow, I was way off.
Well after. All right, so our score is 10-7. Our timer has expired, so we are to our bonus round. So we must bet our chosen number of points here.
We have to write this down.
Yes, Brady's up 10-7. We need a written bet on the next question.
Find something to write with.
I found it. Yay. All right, found something.
All right.
With my pen that could have been just signed by a Masters of the Universe person.
I got it. I'm ready.
Alrighty.
Okay. This is a question after I guess this is an adulting question. All right, so which came first? Have we written our bets? We got to write our bets.
Oh, we got to write our bets first. We don't hear the question first?
I guess you could. I guess it's okay. You hear the question. All right, which came first? Health insurance or life insurance? Health insurance or life insurance? By the way, we had a couple guesses from our audience on the last question. Both Danny and Miss Wilson said curling, and they were correct. Health insurance or life insurance?
Okay. My utensil died. I was looking for one.
We have our bets.
Yep, hold on. Gonna sit down. Okay.
Was hoping that pin wasn't in the bathroom.
Nope, it was just here in the bedroom, but I've got a rubber band holding them together. Okay, I got it. Do you need to see my bet?
All right. We'll start with Todd, since he is behind in score here. Todd, how much did you bet?
Let me give my answer first or bet first?
Yeah, give your answer first in Jeopardy style.
Okay. My answer. Trying to find the light. Can't see it. Can you see it?
Life insurance.
Life insurance. And I bet
7 points. That's a strong bet. 7 points. All right. Brady?
Okay, I said life insurance also.
Okay. And your bet was?
Whoops.
10
bet it all.
points? Wow. That's
I went with 10
stronger-
points.
A stronger bet. The answer is indeed life insurance.
Nice.
So our final score, Brady 20, Todd 14, and we had guesses from the audience. PJ sitting to my right said life insurance. He is correct, as was Sabrina, as was Mrs. Wilson. Anita answered with a period. I don't know if that's life or health. And Wendy said health insurance. Again, the answer was life insurance. So Brady's
the victor.
In the poultry or ovum game.
Victor.
If you were a He-Man figure, you would be Victor.
Indeed. All right.
I wield my poultry and my ovum in victory.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good show. Thank you to our audience who stuck with us through some bumps in the road, but it's all good. I want to invite you once again, go to our website. The address is up here, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. Please register with us. You can get our newsletter every week or thereabouts. Please also like our Facebook page. You can watch I know a lot of people watch on different Facebook feeds and YouTubes and whatever. Please like our Facebook page. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. You can get all of those links at our website. And a lot of things about our show there on the website as well. So with that, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay safe out there, guys.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.